So, hello everyone. Uh, Going live in like 5 minutes. So, so hello everyone. Just a quick check. Am I audible? Uh, can any of you like just comment if I'm audible or not? Okay. So cool. So here I am Ariman, senior core member of CodeChef-VIT. And yeah, sorry for the interruption. So I'm Arvind Osi, senior core member of CodeChef-VIT. Now I'm going to take the session on Flutter. It's called Flutter Unleashed. It is one of the many sessions organized by CodeChef-VIT as a part of DevSoc, a road to DevSoc. So let's moving forward. So in this session, we'll be seeing uh, a Dart basic and then Flutter basic, and then we'll try to build a very basic Flutter app, and then we'll just go through the state management. Then there's API integration in Flutter. So let's start the session. So I hope my screen is visible. So I'll be take you through the very basic of Dart. So let's tell you about the what this Flutter is. So Flutter is just a framework which allows you to develop apps, multi-platform apps. So and Dart is the language in which you write the code. So to get started with Flutter, you need to have at least a basic understanding of Dart. So for that, I already have written few codes which will like take you through that. So I'm really sorry for that. So yeah, so this is a very basic Dart code, like just to print hello world. So actually I already have configured this Flutter on my desktop. So if you don't have like configured Flutter on your desktop, so I'll recommend you to just go to Dartpad. It's a site by Google only. So there you can write all these codes and execute on the real time. So this is a very basic code for Flutter. So this void main is a function. Like if you have experience with like programming language like Java, C++, so you will be having a very basic understanding what this main is. So for a main is just a function, and it prints a simple hello world. So when we try to run this code, we'll get hello world. So now moving on to the variables. So variables basically like you can think of them as a box to store something. So like in this case, like we are making a function called we are making a function main, and in that we are creating this variable called as output int. So output int, like the type of this variable is basically int, and then we are just printing that output. So like this is just a very basic of variables. And then moving on to the data types. So Dart has like two types of data types, that are primitive data types and complex data types. So primitive data types are basically uh, so like boolean, int, double. These are primitive data types, and the complex data types are like string, list, and map. So like map, when we are talking about string, so string basically contains a list of characters, and then list is basically just a list. And then talking about map, so it's actually having this key value pair. And so this is kind of it. And then talking about, there's one more thing that is called late int. So latent basically uh, when we are going to write late just in front of int, so this means that we are just telling the Dart that we are going to use that later in the code. So this is like basics of data types only. And then moving on to the operators. So operators is very basic, like just multiplication, division, and all these. So it performs the basic mathematical operations and all. So when we are going to talk about the list and map, so list, in the previous example, I showed you the example of list. So list can contain any kind of data. So this is like integer, and here we are having string. This is double data type. So to print the list, I can just write a simple command called as print example list. And then talking about the map. So in map, basically like map follows a key value architecture. So in that, uh, we so the main difference between list and map is basically like in list we already have indexes, so like zero, from 0 to 7. And in map we are basically creating new keys, and in that key we are saving some value. Like in this case, let's say this is key 1, and in key 1 we are saving 3, and in key 2 we are saving 2. So to like just a simple like print, so example map, so it will print your map. And then to get the value saved in key 1, we just need to write in square braces key 1. Then length will obviously give you the length of the example map, then keys. uh then going to the if else. So if else is very basic, like it's like mostly like the same concept which you follow in the uh, normal programming languages. So like if age, in this case, there's a age int age. So in that, if I'm just performing few simple steps, like if age is greater than or equal to 18, then we can just print, you can enter the movie, and if age is equal to 16, then with parents, and just very basic stuff. So then similarly, switch case is basically, it's also very similar to other programming languages. So it's not, there's no difference in this. So, and going to the loops. So in this, I've covered two loops, that is while and for. Both are entry control loop. Means in both the loops, we are just controlling the entry. We are controlling the entry. If for, let's say, this example of while loop. So in this, I've already declared number as one. So if the number is like less than 100, then only this these statements will print. These statement will like execute. Otherwise, like if number is let's say 20, like 200 or something like that, so uh, these statements won't execute. Similarly, like for loop, it's pretty basic. So in do while, so that main difference between do while and the last two loops are that the do while loop is exit control loop. So in that, basically, when we are entering the loop, nothing is getting checked. But when we are leaving the loop, then the condition is being executed. Like for this case, like the number is one, and when we are entering here, like print number, so like there is no like checkpoint or something. So when we reach by the end of the line, so if let's say here number is 7, so if the number is 7, then the execution won't repeat. So execution will happen until and unless the number is less than 6. But this condition is checked at the last. So if let's say the number is 7, and I try to run it. So you see, I'm getting to output 7 and 8. So this is also this is called the exit control loop. So this was like if this happened with the for and while loop, so we won't have got like any output. Then talking about the for each loop. So for each loop is very like specific kind of loop. We use this for like iteration of list. So it's kind of optional. If you want to go see the code, you can obviously see. Then yeah, that was like pretty much basics. Like if you have very basic knowledge of any programming language, then I guess you'll be fine with it. So talking about the advanced concepts, so functions, void functions. So like in previous example, I have created void functions. So void functions are those functions which actually don't return anything. So return in means let's say you are creating a box. Okay, so the function of that box is to take two numbers. No, let's say just uh, you can define void as like this thing is simply like non-returning anything. So I'm creating void power. So it actually takes a number index and then prints the result as y. So y is actually the square of x. So like nothing is getting returned. We are just printing the number. And then when we are talking about the return, so yeah, we just return the result. So these are the very basic concepts. I guess you guys will be like familiar with them. As And then the major topic is basically wait. So I guess this thing. So yeah, I guess this is like a very basic overview of this. So now let's moving forward to Flutter. So Yeah, just a second, I'll zoom in. So is it fine now? Yeah. So moving on Flutter. So talking about the Flutter basics. So Flutter basically, like in Flutter, like if you guys have any like pre knowledge about app development or something like that, so like in like normal native Android development, we just like have two parts, like uh, two files which are like making everything. Like we have XML file to create UI, and we have Java file to write the uh, main logic and all. So in Flutter, like everything is divided into like widgets. So what are widgets? So widgets are like these are very basic building blocks of the code. So yeah. So in Flutter, like just let me show you like how to set up Flutter and all. So like this is the site like Flutter. You just need to search Flutter SDK and you will get this link. So in this, like depending upon your system, you can download any file like for Windows and Mac OS. And like for this stream, I know like this is like around 1 to 2 GB, so like it won't be possible. So I recommend you to like go to Dartpad, dartpad.dev. So in that, basically, just create a like this was the pre-built thing. So in this, go here. Sorry, sorry. In this, create new pad. In this, like if you want to try Dart, then you can like click here on Dart. And if you are trying to build a Flutter project, then you can just create here. Okay, so it's a like this thing is just a uh, pre-built Flutter app which is generated by Dartpad. So if you try to run this, you'll get a UI output here, the side. So it's just a hello world. Okay. So for all of you who have not configured like this Flutter, you can use this. And I'll be for the first app, I'll be just going through writing only the main file. So you need not to worry about anything else. So just like remove all this code. And now I'll be switching to VS Code. So I'll tell you guys to all of you like if you are developing this Flutter app, so there are two like places where you can do it. So basically, there's Android Studio. So Android Studio is like kind of heavy application, but also you need that for emulator and all. And for VS Code, you can also create Flutter apps on VS Code. So personally, I make Flutter apps on VS Code. So I'll be switching to VS Code, and you guys can like try to follow that code on here Dartpad only also. So wait. So like Flutter has a pretty good command line inputs. So like command line tools. So like I'll be using this command line tools only to like create and make projects. So like we have this in my say, folder Flutter session. So in that we'll just create a new folder. So here's my VS Code. So I'll create a new terminal here. And to create a new like Flutter app, we have a very basic. So provided that you already have installed Flutter SDK, so for just to create a new Flutter app, we have a very basic command Flutter new basics. So this command will create a new app called as basics. Sorry for that. So so this command Flutter create basics will create a new like project Flutter basics. So it's creating that. So now navigating to the working directory, cd basics. So this is how like project will look like. So these are all the pre-built files and all. So like most of them you would be through and rest of them like right now you don't need to go through. And the another file which is important for the for like creation is prospect package 7. So in all the packages are like there. So this much because like we'll be downloading all the packages from command line only. So right now we are just going to focus on main.dart. So this is just this is just generated by Flutter. So like most of this code we don't need it. So if we try to run this, it will give us this a counter app. This is just a code for a counter app pre-built by Flutter. So we don't need that actually right now. So we'll be like removing the whole code and writing the new code. Like I'm thinking of just creating a new checkbox kind of uh, app for the session only. So yeah. Uh, so like the entry part of our app is this main function. So so now there's some the test file is showing error. So right now we don't need this test file. So we'll be removing this, and now we are just going to write this main file. So in this for this session, we are like what I thought is like to create a road to DevSoc app. In that, we'll be having checklist items. In that, basically in each checklist we will have event name, and as soon as we are just checking each checklist, so we'll be getting close to DevSoc. So it will contain a progress bar. It will contain checkbox items, text widgets. So most of the things which you need to start with Flutter, you'll get through the session. So basically, now I'm just going to change. And this we are just for this particular app, we are just needing material.dart. So material.dart is a library built by Flutter only. So it provides various UI components. So to just it's already written here. So Let's go change the code. So now, when I told you in Flutter, everything is composed of widgets. So this when this main function will run, so it will create a new widget called as my apps. My app will actually hold everything in this Flutter app. So let's create my app. So like my app, the so before creating my app, let's tell you something about states in apps. So there are two kinds of states, stateless and state. So there are two types of widgets, and they are called stateless and stateful widgets. So stateless widgets are basically those widgets whose state is not changed. So by that, what I mean is, let's say in Flutter, when you are like showing text on the screen, so that text is also a widget. So that text, so that when we are calling an API and just, then showing that on text widget, so that text will change as we call the API as the response changes. Okay, so that widget, when we are going to consider, it will be like stateful widget, and stateless widget, the widgets whose states are not never gonna change. So like there's a shortcut in both Android Studio and Visual Studio Code to create a stateless widget. So you just need to write stles, so it will create the whole code for you. So in that, just change the name to my app. So we don't need it. No, so this is a constructor. We don't need this actually right now. So in that, I'm going to return a material app. So as you can see, this is a build function, and this returns a widget. So that widget will be basically a material app. So this material app has various parameters. So in that, I'm just writing the name as title, road to DevSoft, the title of the app, and theme I'll be choosing a theme this is how you are going to write any theme. So theme data, primary source. So this is gonna be theme, and the home page is actually my home page. So right now I'm not created this home page. So let's create home page. So again, this home page will be a stateless widget. So stls. So this will create a new widget. So my home page. Again, we don't need this constructor right now. So in that home page, we are going to let's create a new widget. So the scaffold actually like contains all the widgets. Like if you talk about, so when you see an app, so first of all, first thing which you see is an app bar. App bar is basically a, so to create an app bar, we just need to type app bar, and then we type the class name. So this is for actions. Like app bar also have various attributes. So like we don't need like actions right now. So we just need to have a title. So the title of that app bar will be Road to DevSoft. Oh, sorry. So like we can't write like this. So as I told you in Flutter, everything is composed of widgets only. So like for just to show text, we need a text widget also. That will be wrote. Now this text. So this whole is a text widget. In that text widget, like this text widget takes a string as an argument. Now if we want this, so just like we can so this whole code will just show a single screen app with just a single like app bar. There's nothing else here. So just let's try to run this code. So to run this code, we'll just create a new terminal here. And to run, we have a very basic Flutter command again, Flutter run. So now the first time it takes some time, so it downloads all the packages and all. So if there are some new packages, and it tries to connect with the emulator. For me, like it's Google Pixel 3. So as soon as it launches on the mobile, I'll show you how it looks like. So it takes some time to like create the project. So for all of you like who are following on Dart, you can also write this code on Dartpad, so it will run same. But the thing is like you won't get the same like I'm trying to run this on mobile app, so this will be rendered as a mobile app on the phone. But by the time the whole code gets like executed on the phone, let me show you how it will look like on Dartpad. So I'll just copy the whole code and I'll then just so I hope it is visible. So wait, just wait. I guess there's some technical glitch. Wait. Yeah. So I guess the screen is visible now. So like, see the whole. I told you how to create a new pad, Dart pad. So I'm going to paste that same code here. So when so you can see everything is here. So when I'll try to run this, on Dartpad, I'll get the same output. Wait just a second, it's running. Yeah. So as you can see, here's the like output of this code. So you can also try on Dartpad. So I'll suggest you, if you are not like if you are not if you have not already set up the Android Studio and this VS Code, so try to run this code on Dartpad. So it will give you this output. So it's a pretty same. So in this, basically, we are just creating this app bar. So in that app bar, like we are just presently showing the text title road to DevSoc, and then we can align it also in the center. Uh, so yeah, we can center this title using the command center. Takes a boolean command to. Sorry. So as you can see, the title is at center. So now presently the whole theme is blue. So you can change to any other color also. Like I can change this to red from this part. Theme data primary source color dot red. So now the title color will be of red. Yeah. So here's the thing. Now let me show you how it looks on Android emulator. Yeah. So this is my Android emulator. So you can see it's running fine on my phone, Android emulator. So let's head back to VS Code again. Wait, just a second. Yeah. So I hope the screen is visible now. Uh, so as you can see, like here we are having this debug part. So we can actually remove this debug. So we just need to write in theme only debug show checker mode banner to false. So uh, as you can see, I'm just pressing R for like small R for hot reload. So without any building without building app again. So this is gonna like create the app again. So let's move forward with the app. Uh, So let's create the home page. So till now, homepage has only app bar right now. So now we need to. So as I told you, we are creating checkbox element. So in that we are going to, let's say, going to have some body. In that body we are going to contain column. So column is basically way of align. Column is a widget which aligns all the other widgets in like column fashion. So the base widget is children. So in that, this children will contain all the other widgets which we are going to make. So let's say we are going to create progress. This is progress and task list. These are the custom. These progress and task list are actually custom widgets. So now let's create new widgets. Let's create this. So the first widget is progress, and the other widget is task list. So now this progress will create a progress bar and a text. So let's create that. So again, here we are going to create a basic function, basic widget of column. In that column, we will going to have children, and in children, we are going to have like text widget. So text widget, and then we are going to have a progress bar. That's called linear progress indicator, and present value is 0. So this will create this. So if you can see, I'm getting all these blue squiggly lines just because it's kind of linting thing. So if we just add constant, so all those lines have gone because presently, if you can see, like these values are not changing. These are just constant values. So for the time being, I'm just adding const so we don't get these kind of errors. And here also we are getting this error kind of thing. So we'll just add const here. So this is done actually. So now let's head toward the task list. So task list will create again a column. Uh, so right now you can see there's an error on task item. It's because like I've not created this widget. So I'm going to create this widget again. So create this widget. Yeah. Uh, so let's create this. So as you can see, we have this function name label. So we are going to create now in this we are going to have checkbox, and the value is going to be present value is going to be false, and on change it's going to be null. There's no, and in the other it's going to be text. So in that text we are going to print label. So this is it. Yeah. So presently we have only again the same thing cost. So in that three things, product management. Then the second session was into HTML. The third session was basically React. Fourth session was design. So yeah, like till here, I guess we'll get the desired output. So we'll try to run this like hot reloaded. So we just press R. Oh, sorry, I'm not seeing it. So also with this, I'm also going to tell you one more thing. Yeah, it takes time to run the code. Yeah. So as you can see, yeah, as you can see on the screen, so we have this title heading, devsock loading. So this is actually a progress bar, and we have the check boxes. So this was like the first checkpoint of our code. So if we run this on Notepad, then also we'll get the same thing. So I hope the screen is visible. So all those who are using Notepad, they can run the same code. So they'll get the same output, which I was getting on the phone. Uh, so as you can see, both the outputs are same. Then let's head back to uh, same VS Code again. So let me tell you something about hot reload and hot restart. So when you press small r, then we get hot reload. Hot reload means basically it enables us to just create the new UI models, which and hot restart. So without even creating the app from the like from rendering from the basics, so it just create like all those UIs which are newly created. So R is for that, and hot restart is basically when you it restarts the device in the app. Then I guess the UI is pretty terrible, but like, this is a basic session, so like I guess it will be fine. So after that, you can obviously move ahead with it with the UI. So basically now, if you can see it, so like if you can see it, I'm trying to when I try to press on any checkboxes, I'm not getting any like response. So it's because these widgets are stateless widgets. Means the state of these widgets don't change. So like to interact with these widgets, we need to make them stateful widgets. So let us write the code once again. So yeah. So as you can see this task item thing, so it's presently a stateless widget. Task item actually, so this task item creates this whole widget checkbox with the text thing, product management. So and these are like actually rendered from here, from this task list. So we'll go to that later. So first, like we need to make this interactive. So to make this interactive, I'll just go to this hot icon, convert it to state full widget. Now when I convert this to stateful widget, so it's very simple. So without doing anything, this whole widget will turn to stateful. Now we need to change few things here. Yeah, so now we just change it to stateful widget. So what's happening here is basically like in this we have changed this to like in checkbox we have introduced on change. So when the value of this checkbox gets changed, so we get a new value, and that new value is then like we create a this set state, and that in set state we create a function, and that we get from new value. So when we try to run this using hot reload, sorry, yeah. So you can see the app is now playing. So now you can see when we just change the state of this widget to stateful, now we can interact with these checkboxes. So here also like there's one more thing, like this loading thing is not working again. So like to actually this is actually the second checkpoint of the app. So we just created a stateful widget. So now we are going to handle the state, so states of the app. So state management, so there are various types of state management used like block and report. There are various. So but due to time constraint we'll be considering only one state management tool, and that will be Riverpod for right now. You can prefer any state management tool, whatever you want, like either block, Riverpod, anything else. So that is totally up to your preference. So now when we like just to check once again, like if we try to run this code on Dartpad, let's see what we get. So here also like you can see no buttons are clicking. So when we paste that same code on Dartpad, we can run it here. Yeah. So it's working on Dartpad also. So okay, now heading back to Flutter. So not to use, let's quit this simulation. So to use Riverpod, we'll run the following command. So this will add all the dependencies on your perspec.yaml. So you can also like check out the official docs about this Riverpod. So you can check out the documentation also. It's pretty good. So one of the best feature about Flutter is that the documentation is pretty solid. You can search on YouTube on Flutter channels also. So let's just make the final thing. So here now we are going to create a data class. Yeah. So here basically we are defining constructor. So in that constructor we are providing these labels, ID label and completed in required. And the initial value of the step completed is actually false. So while we are creating these files, I'll just tell you later in the session. Wait, just share the screen. Due to time constraints, I'll just paste the code. I already have made the code, and then I'll explain you guys what is happening here. So the whole code is already on my GitHub repo. So if you want to check it out, you can also check it out. So wait, let me just try to run this code. Yeah. So basically now let me tell you what's happening here. So for that we have a task provider. It actually notifies the state of the widget. So for that we have like this, and then it actually returns a task notifier in form of this object. So here we have this task class, so it returns that. So now when we are going to run this, we'll probably see like progress bar running. So we just create a new tab. So by the time it's running, let's try to run this on Dotpad. Guess there's some issue with the dot. Yeah, it's running on emulator. Let's check it here. Yeah, so as you can see, as we are checking each and every boxes, so the progress bar is moving ahead. So this is how we do the state management. So and the basic core crux of state management is basically we are trying to find what is the present state of this thing, and then we're just trying to update it here. So yeah, that that is it for today's session. So if you have any questions regarding this, you can ask. And also all the code is hosted on my GitHub. So if you want to check it out, you definitely go check it out on my GitHub. And also I guess. Oh, okay, okay. So Aman, so the difference between, yeah, yeah. So we use commas to separate like wait, just let me share my screen and show you what is the difference here. Yeah, Arvind. So this uh, semicolon actually denotes the end of the line, and comma is actually just a separator of two widgets. So wait, let me post my GitHub link here. So I recommend you to go through that, to go to the GitHub uh, link, as everything is almost there, like Dart basics. It includes Dart basics and Flutter basics, and also in Flutter basics, in all the code I have written comments. So just go through it. So I guess it will be beneficial for you. Right. So just let me show you. Yeah. So I guess it's visible on the screen now. So do check this out, and if there's any other questions, so ping me. So I guess there are no more questions. So we'll wrap this up. So bye bye. Good night. It was a great session.